Most financial struggles are not caused by a lack of intelligence. They are usually caused by a gap between knowing and doing. Almost everyone has heard the basic advice about money. Save regularly. Avoid unnecessary debt. Invest for the future. Yet despite understanding these ideas, millions of people still live paycheck to paycheck. The truth is simple. Information has never been the real problem. The real challenge is consistent behavior over time. Financial stability is rarely built through complicated strategies. It is built through a handful of simple habits repeated for years. Today we are going to look at 7 obvious rules of financial literacy that many people understand but surprisingly few follow consistently. These principles may sound basic, but when practiced with discipline they can completely change a person's financial future. The first rule is to spend less than you earn. This idea forms the foundation of personal finance. Every financial plan, investment strategy, or wealth-building method depends on one simple equation. Your income must be greater than your expenses. When this happens, the difference becomes savings. Those savings eventually become investments. And those investments can grow into long-term financial security. The challenge is that modern lifestyles constantly encourage the opposite behavior. As income increases, spending usually increases as well. A raise often leads to a nicer car, a bigger apartment, more subscriptions, and more lifestyle upgrades. This pattern is known as lifestyle inflation. It quietly absorbs extra income before it ever has the chance to build wealth. One practical solution is to automate saving. Before spending on anything else, move a portion of income directly into a savings or investment account. Even small amounts can create powerful habits over time. The goal is to protect the gap between what you earn and what you spend because that gap is what creates financial progress. The second rule is to build a reliable emergency fund. Life rarely moves in a perfectly predictable direction. Unexpected expenses appear when people least expect them. A medical bill arrives. A car suddenly needs repair. A job situation changes. Without financial preparation, these events quickly turn into stressful crises. That is why having accessible savings is essential. A common recommendation is to keep 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses set aside in a safe and easily accessible place. For people with uncertain income or freelance work, saving even more can provide extra stability. The purpose of this money is not aggressive growth. It is protection and flexibility. When people know they have a financial cushion, they make calmer decisions. They avoid panic during difficult situations. They can take time to evaluate options instead of reacting under pressure. In many ways, an emergency fund is not just a financial tool. It is also a psychological advantage that allows people to think clearly during uncertainty. The third rule is to avoid high-interest consumer debt whenever possible. Debt can either support long-term progress or quietly damage it depending on how it is used. Borrowing money for productive purposes, such as building a business or purchasing a long-term asset, may sometimes create opportunities. But debt used for everyday consumption often does the opposite. High-interest credit cards are a common example. When balances are carried month after month, interest charges grow quickly. A purchase that originally seems small can end up costing far more over time. Many people do not accumulate debt through one large purchase. Instead, it happens gradually through daily spending habits. Small expenses like online purchases, dining out, or recurring subscriptions slowly add up. Modern payment systems can make this process feel almost invisible. Another growing trend is installment payment services that allow people to buy now and spread payments across future months. While convenient, these services can make spending feel easier than it actually is. Over time, they can fragment financial obligations into multiple small payments that become difficult to track. Escaping high-interest debt often becomes one of the most important steps toward financial recovery because every dollar previously lost to interest can instead be redirected toward savings or investment. The fourth rule begins once spending is controlled, savings exist, and debt is minimized. That rule is to invest consistently and give time the chance to work in your favor. Wealth rarely appears overnight. Instead, it grows gradually through the power of compounding. When money is invested and allowed to remain invested for long periods, the returns begin generating additional returns. Over time, this process can accelerate growth in ways that surprise many people. The most important factor in this process is not perfect timing or complicated predictions about the market. It is simply starting early and contributing regularly. Even modest monthly investments can become substantial when given decades to grow. Consistency removes the emotional decisions that often damage investment results. By focusing on steady contributions rather than short-term market movements, investors give themselves the greatest chance to benefit from long-term growth. The fifth rule is to increase your ability to earn. While saving money is important, there is a natural limit to how much expenses can be reduced. Eventually, the most powerful way to improve financial progress is by increasing income. Developing valuable skills, gaining experience, and expanding opportunities can significantly change a person's financial trajectory. In the modern economy, there are more ways to earn money than ever before. Technology has opened doors that did not exist just a few decades ago. People can offer services online, build digital businesses, consult remotely, or create valuable content that reaches a global audience. Many successful individuals focus on what is called skill stacking. Instead of relying on only one ability, they combine several complementary skills that make them more valuable in the marketplace. For example, someone who understands communication and marketing may create more opportunities than someone who only specializes in one narrow area. Another important reality is that income growth often happens faster when people actively seek new opportunities rather than staying in the same position for many years waiting for small raises. Understanding your value in the marketplace and continuously improving your skills can significantly increase lifetime earnings. The sixth rule is to control lifestyle inflation. One of the most common financial patterns appears when income increases. At first, it feels exciting. A promotion arrives or a new income stream begins to grow. But gradually, spending begins to rise as well. A nicer car becomes appealing. More frequent dining out feels justified. Entertainment, travel, and subscriptions slowly expand the monthly budget. The challenge is that happiness tends to adjust quickly to improved circumstances. Something that once felt like a luxury soon becomes normal. Psychologists refer to this as hedonic adaptation. People adapt to new levels of comfort and soon begin seeking the next upgrade. If every increase in income is matched by an equal increase in spending, financial progress slows dramatically. People may earn more money than ever before and still feel financially stuck. Individuals who build long-term wealth often approach this situation differently. Instead of increasing spending at the same pace as income, they maintain a healthy gap between what they earn and what they spend. That gap becomes the fuel for investment in future opportunities. A practical strategy is to divide income increases intentionally. When earnings grow, allow a small portion of the increase to improve lifestyle while directing the majority towards savings and long-term investments. This approach allows enjoyment of progress while still strengthening financial security. None of the ideas discussed today are secret. They are simple principles that have been repeated in financial education for decades. Yet many people overlook them because they appear too basic to make a difference. In reality, financial stability is rarely created through one extraordinary decision. It is the result of ordinary behaviors repeated consistently over many years. Spending slightly less than you earn, building protective savings, avoiding harmful debt, investing patiently, increasing your earning ability, controlling lifestyle inflation, and preparing for the future are habits that quietly transform financial outcomes. The distance between financial stress and financial freedom is often determined not by intelligence or luck, but by discipline. You do not need to begin perfectly. You simply need to begin, stay consistent, and allow time to do the rest.